Guys, this is Bobby Doo. He got undefeated in the latest Vancouver regionals. And what format is this? This is Yugioh format. All right. So what deck did you play today, Bobby?
I played Purrely.
Purrely. What was your record?
8-0, undefeated.
Damn. All right. So what do you want to show us today?
I guess we'll start with engine.
Sounds good.
So it's pretty standard. 3 Purrely, 3 Purrely, 3 Pretty, 3 Happy, 2 Sleepy, 1 Delicious, 3 My Friend, and 3 Street, and 1 Leap. You don't need more than one of the trap post ban list, because during the times where you need it, you just use Lily to hard search it. If you don't have anything, your default search off of My Friend should usually probably be 2 Sleepies, and then either Pretty or Delicious, depending on your hand. In hands where you can't hard make Nor and you don't have an extra memory to set with the baby Nor, you usually just use this to search the trap, and then you just make Nor on their turn with whatever accessible Purrely you have, like Beauty or Happiness.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Engine is 22 cards. Literally after the ban list, you just take out the 1 Sleepy. And
How did you feel about the Sleepy hit too?
It's annoying sometimes because you really want it to be guaranteed to be able to hit a Sleepy on turn 1, but there are ways of getting around it. You obviously can't do the draw 6 combo anymore. If you open the hands for that, you're only drawing 4. But you can grab a Delicious end phase instead, and that way, if you live until the next turn, you can guarantee a hard mate Nor, because this you put this in the graveyard, and you can guarantee to make a small plump into a big plump next turn. So it does hurt the deck, but the deck is still pretty good, and people should definitely still respect the deck. It's definitely, I wouldn't call it in the same tier as the top of the meta threats. That I would consider Rescue Ace and Lab to be slightly better, but it's definitely tier 1.5.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And then for non-engine, we'll start with hand traps. 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm. So no Droll, no Nib in the main, because I felt like this format was really wide and I wanted the most diverse coverage for my hand traps, and these are the most flexible hand traps. They might not be the most high power, high impact hand traps like Droll and Nib, but right now decks are at close enough power with each other that I feel like as long as my engine and non-engine are both sufficiently useful, I would always have a chance in my games and my matchups, assuming I don't just hard brick. And then for consistency, 3 pros. You definitely need 3 pros after ban list, because you're down 1 less starter. But you're down the best starter, which is Sleepy, and your White Cat is less consistent. I was playing 1 to 2 before, sometimes 3 pre-ban list, but post-ban list, I think this is definitely mandatory. You definitely need this as a consistency card. 3 Fenrir, because Fenrir is just amazing in this deck. It puts out damage. When this deck struggles on damage, it's the best discard engines. Good going first, good going second. And again, the format's very wide, and this is just a generically very powerful card. It puts up a lot of board presence. And right now, I feel like people are on less Stroll's main board than previously, because Lab, I expected to be pretty popular, and it was. And I expected people to account for Lab being more popular. So yes, even though this does play into Droll harder, it's so good that I think it's worth the trade-off. Plus, in hands where you open the field spell, you're going to use the field spell to put on Veiler Imperm anyways. So This is just kind of free when you draw it. And for something a little spicier, 2 Cyclones and Tactic Sounds to round up my non-engine.
So why the Cyclones?
This actually used to be 3 Cyclones, but I wanted Tactics Talent as a card that I can dig off of Prosp, and it's a really nice one-of, very flexible one-of, good going first, good going second. And to the same vein, that's the same theory of Cyclone in this format. A lot of decks right now are very vulnerable to Cyclone, and there's no matchup where Cyclone is dead. It's a good, because it's just a quick play spell, it's good going first, it's good going second. So mainly the biggest blowout for Cyclone is Fire King and the Runic decks, because you hit Island going first or second, or you hit the Fountain going first or second, and this just kind of cooks them. This is really good versus a lot of the other decks though. Going first and going first as well, and going second, it will usually probably clear something, so it's not that bad. Against the Diabellstar decks, mostly Rescue Ace, this can just hit their set Sinful Spoil. Against Lab, a really strong play they can do is they use the furniture to set a trap to chain block you, and Cyclone blows them out, because if they said welcome or big welcome, not only can they not use it, you remove it from play, so they can't even recur it back from the graveyard, and even though they're shutting you off from playing, you also shut them off from playing, so it's really nice there. And in the mirror match, it's really nice because you can banish the field spell or my friend with it. So right now in this specific metagame, I think Cyclone is very underrated, and I think it's, if you have the space for it, it's actually really nice to mainboard it. This card definitely overperformed a lot.
How often did you see Cyclone in your matches in the regional?
I saw this twice versus Fire King, but one of the times, unfortunately, it was going second and he tactics to rip it. I saw it once against Lab, and I used it to remove the field spell and to chain block the lady. That was game winning. And I saw it one more time going first into Lab, and the play came up where I used it to snipe the Labyrinth trap. So this was definitely really nice. I didn't see it as often as I would have liked to, but it did its job. I liked it a lot.
Sounds good, sounds good.
And for the extra deck, we have one Nor. This is mostly just used for going first, very standard. I did use its ignition effect to bounce a Nib token once, which actually was the first time in months this came up with me, but pretty standard. One Plump, also standard. Delicious at 1. If you need more than one, you can just recycle off the trap, which I actually did versus one of my games versus Vanadium, where I hard open Delicious and I recycled this, so I hard made Nora on turn 1 and I hard made Nora on turn 2, so that was very nice. 2 Happiness. You can technically get away with 1, but I like 2 because this is mostly a going second board breaking tool, and if they remove the first one that's not bouncing it, you really want the second one to be able to float into. 2 Beauty, because sometimes you make one going first, so you want the second one in your extra deck for the follow-up. And the win condition of the deck, 2 Nor, you need 2, there are times where you do Psycho Shrew 2, very standard. And then for the non-Purrely XYZs, Ensemble Blue Robin, this only came up once, but when it comes up, you need it. You need this card if you open 5 engine going first, because you want to end on extra disruptions. This is especially important because if you open all engine now, you're drawing 4 compared to drawing 6, which it makes your chances of seeing multiple hand traps to back up your Nor going first much lower. So I only had that hand come up once, but this was really important. So a lot of the time, this does get banished off of Frost. And then the Zeus Bridge, Nightingale. The reason this is better than Slacker right now is because there's less targeting interaction in the meta because Kashtira is not really very popular as a deck, maybe Floodgate variant, and both the indestructible effect and the battle damage prevention is relevant. One time I made this because I got shifted on turn 1, and I just used this to live, and then I followed up and made a Nor turn 2 versus Vanquish Soul. So this was very important because ending on some Blue Robin is not great because they can just normal summon and attack over and then do their full combo. And if they can remove it, then they'll probably just OTK you. So I feel like this is better as a Zeus Bridge, and it's better as an option to make going first defensively. It does come up versus Fire King that this is indestructible because Kieran doesn't target. And then Downerd, Zeus, Typhon, all very important. Downerd is just material for Zeus, and Zeus is just your backup plan if you can't get into the Nord plays. You need the Zeus, and Typhon does not come up too often. It's another card I banish a lot off of Cross, but when it does come up, it wins you the game. So I definitely wouldn't play this deck without it. And then for links, the one Anima and the one SP. Anima doubles as being able to clear the Nib token, which is very annoying for this deck to deal with because you can't use Pretty Memory to attach the token as XYZ material, and SP is just best link to in the format. Definitely very nice. And for the side deck, 3 Nib, 3 Droll. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to main these because they're not good in every matchup right now, but these are incredibly impactful when they are good. So I definitely still wanted them somewhere. So I sided these instead. These were very good when they came up. I played Vanadium twice, sided both times. Definitely won some of those games because I sided these. So very nice. 3 Bell. Bell's really good this format because it doubles as being a blowout to both Lab and Fire King. Lab, you obviously hit the big welcome, but against Fire King, you can hit so many things in the deck. You can stop Garunix from coming back. You can stop Flamberge Dragon from reviving 2. You can bell Charmers. You can bell Kieran, and so you definitely need this. You definitely need this in the side. It comes up a lot, and Lab is one of your weaker matchups as Purrely, so you do need the extra. Disruptions for Lab. And then for back row removal, 1 Storm and 1 Duster and 2 Storms. So in some matchups, even though I main the Cyclone is not good enough as back row removal. This is mostly against Rescue Ace and Lab going second, where you want these blowouts instead of 1 forward trading. So even though it does look a little weird where I'm siding even more back row removal, even when I'm maining Cyclones, these definitely do come up, and these are definitely very nice. And then 3 Solemn Judgment. So last format, and I think even this format, it was more popular to play Summon Limit as the Floodgate. I had 2 issues with Summon Limit. One, you don't want to side it versus Lab Runic, and 2, there's a lot of ways to remove to remove back row in this format. Kieran's a non-targeting pop, for example, Runic Destruction, and the Runic Distill decks. So I feel like Judgment was just more flexible and more live when it came up, and people don't really respect the Judgment. Sometimes if you Judgment their normal summon or Judgment their XYZ or Link summon against certain matchups, you just win the game on the spot. So I definitely like Judgment more than the standard going first summon limit in the spot. Didn't see a whole lot, but it was really good when I did see it. And being able to side Judgment versus Lab was extremely nice, because you can hit blowouts they have, such as like Daruma Camp.
All right, thank you for your deck profile. Is there any shout outs you want to say?
First of all, shout out to my team CWG.
Ooh, that's clean.
They helped me test for the event. I did a lot of Fury for them. All very nice people, and I appreciate them a lot. I couldn't have come that far without all of you guys. Especially Rhinex. He taught me a lot about getting better at the game, and wouldn't be here without him. Shout out to Jonathan. He got me onto playing Purrely. I've been playing Purrely for at least 5 or 6 months now. Definitely couldn't have gotten all the cards without him. I appreciate you a lot. Shout out to my friend Tommy for getting me back into playing the game. Definitely enjoyed it a lot. He got me started back up again when I didn't have a whole lot of staples or cards, so I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to the Vancouver locals I go to, J&J, Treasure Chest, and Metropolis. I appreciate all of you a lot. For Metropolis and Treasure Chest, they've been hosting locals for probably more than a decade now. I used to go there during high school, and it feels really nice that they're still around hosting events for everyone. It feels really nice, and especially the tournament organizers. I appreciate Andrew at Metropolis, Albert from TC, and especially the GOAT, Leo. Best tournament organizer, for sure.
Best TO.
Best TO.
All right,